The Elizabethan era was a time in Europe when a king and queen ruled over the land. The king and queen affected how people acted, lived, and ate. This was evident in the quality and the quantity of foods. Food was different for the higher and lower class and was produced at different times to different people. For the higher class during the Elizabethan era, they had their meals prepared for them by hired chefs. The higher class often ate meals such as wild fowl, veal, lamb, beef, and pork. People in the higher class often enjoyed to eat meals that were spicy and sweet because they could afford to buy the spices and sugars that was needed to make them. Although the higher class lived great lives, the lower class was not as lucky. Food for them was a luxury and was an item that wasn't constantly supplied. The lower class barely had enough food for 2 meals a day. They would often supplement meals with dairy products, soups, and vegetables. For the lower class, food was a luxury and was an item that wasn't constantly supplied. Sometimes the lower class would supplement foods such as dairy products, vegetables, and soups for their meals. Like there was a difference between the types of foods the two classes ate, there was also a difference in how it was prepared. The higher class had foods prepared by chefs, unlike the lower class. The higher class could have had food prepared in outdoor gazebos or special dining rooms or grand rooms. But the two classes did have something in common when they prepared their meals. On average, breakfast was normally prepared between 6 and 7 a.m., lunch was prepared between 12 and 2 p.m., and dinner was prepared between 6 and 7 p.m.
In the Elizabethan times, the Elizabethans didn't have many foods to choose from. Like today, their vegetables weren't meant for men to eat. They were meant for animals, like hogs and horses, animals used to haul things. Their foods weren't like waffles and Doritos. They had more like roast peacock, and they would put birds in a pie, and that would be their desserts. Their utensils were very different too. They didn't have silverware. They used wooden spoons, and they used just everything that they could find to eat with. Forks and spoons were just now being introduced. Royalty in this time was very fortunate. They had many choices. They had meat and many other things that the lower classes didn't have.
The nobility during this time had 12 courses on special occasions such as Christmas and Thanksgiving. Water during this time was very uncommon and unhealthy. This is what it looked like. Nasty. Things on the bottom. It's nasty.
Go.
The nobility usually drank wine, which was very common during this time, and they had a wide variety of it. Milk was very uncommon. The only people who drank milk during this time were children and the elderly. Desserts food in this time was very uncommon, even for the nobility. They didn't have things like chocolate or cookie dough